Hey, Shalom to the elect of Israel. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect of Israel. And this lesson is going into, basically because of this government shutdown. All right, you got you got a lot of flight, delays, because this government shutdown, basically, right? Regarding these, involving these flights, right, is that because with this government shutdown, federal people who work for the government, they're not getting paid, okay, and that includes TSA. TSA is those people when you go to the airport, you got to check your bags, right, and that's a part of the airport, with safety and all of that, right, so people don't carry things like bombs or whatever on the plane and all of that stuff, right. So, so basically, they're not, a lot of them aren't getting paid, okay, and that is causing a huge flight delay, because these people in America love to fly, right, but it says the FAA, which stands for Federal Aviation Agency, I believe, Salaki if I'm wrong, is set to start cutting flights to contend with delays and staffing shortages. Somebody said, this is about where's the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said. Since the Federal Aviation Administration will begin cutting the number of flights in the high traffic parts of the country as the government shutdown grinds on, because currently, if you didn't know, we're in a government shutdown. All right. It says, and local airports have reported staffing shortages. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said Wednesday there's going to be a 10% reduction in capacity at 40 of our locations. Duffy said, this is about where's the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure. FAA Administrator Brian Bedford said the reduction in capacity spurred by fatigue plaguing air traffic controls will start Friday. The list of markets impacted will be raised Thursday, he said. And this came out November 5th, updated November 6th, 2025. Right? Look at that. We just got to the month November, and we already like around the 5th or 6th. Like I forgot what day it is today. All right, I know it's Thursday, but I forgot the date. Okay, but it says airlines were told by Department of Transportation officials. All right, so I basically read that. It says Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy told Fox News Thursday morning that passengers should expect significant delays due to air traffic controllers going without pay and being unable to work. Okay, so the air traffic controllers as well. So they're having staffing shortages at the airport. It says, so I think you're going to have more significant disruptions in the airspace. And as we come into Thanksgiving, if we are still in a shutdown posture, it's going to be rough out there. Really, really rough. And we'll mitigate the safety side, he said. It says, but will you fly on time? Will your flight actually go? That is yet to be seen, but there will be more disruption. Yeah, and guess what? Some people, they book flights they book flights months ahead, months in advance. They book flights, and we're coming into this, the holiday season, this BS Halloween just passed. All right. People are still trying to celebrate it. All right. And the world is on fire, basically, but people still trying to celebrate that. People still, just on bullshit, man. Hopefully they don't get their Thanksgiving. The EBT just got cut. All right. And, Jake, man, I remember Jake coming into the store. When I used to work as a cashier, Jake coming in the store. All right. Having 2 carts full of stuff, man. Just BS, fucking honey buns, sweet tarts, Pop Tarts, honey nut Cheerios, Fruit Loops, all bullshit, man. And, buying turkeys and all that, when the time would come around and stuff they would do for December, for Christmas, all that stuff is going. And with this flight thing, people like traveling, it just goes to show. Let me get it real quick. This is the book of Isaiah 24 and 8, verse 11, Salakia. There is a crying for wine in the streets. Right, this is going to happen when all hell breaks loose, right? People are going to be looking for answers, which only the elect have. It says, all joy is darkened, the mirth of the land is gone. And the mirth represents, the joy, joy. Okay. And yeah, when all hell breaks loose, all right, the joy is definitely going to be gone. The joy, the mirth of the land is gone. But we seeing like beginning phases of it now with all of this, government shutdowns and EBT going away, and people not being able to fly. People, fly to go different places for different reasons, but a lot of times for vacationing and stuff like that, right? So the mirth of the land is leaving. The Lord taking the mirth of the land away, and as the scriptures say, it's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 4. I'm going to start at verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So it's a time, right, and a season for everything. For everything that happens, on earth, there's a time. There's a certain time for it. There's a certain time and season for it, man. There's a certain time for everything on earth. Okay. Jumping down to verse 4, says a time to weep and a time to laugh. Yeah, there's different times you cry and different time you laugh. There are certain things that happen that make you cry, and there's certain things that happen that make you laugh. Right? When certain things happen and you cry, that was the time and season for that to happen, right? And same thing goes for laughing. And then it says a time to mourn and a time to dance. Yeah, a time to mourn. Okay, and that's what's coming. That's the earth. Well, these people, because all hell's about to break loose, these people are in a mourning state now. People crashing out, people realizing the food is getting cut. All right. Job shortages, how they're going to pay rent. The world is in shambles right now, And so this is, the time and season for people to start mourning. Okay. But that when all hell breaks loose, the Lord is going to, amplify us. All right. Some of us got to be martyrs, but so be it. But ultimately the Lord is going to amplify us. Okay, and these are the things we've been prophesying about. This goes to show that, we are the true prophets of the Lord, starting with our apostles and elders, a great millstone, and the like-minded brothers under them. Okay. The Lord said also too, was when all hell breaks, because these, like beginning stages. All right. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse 27. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, which is Jacob's trouble, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. You see? So when all hell breaks loose, the world is going to be weeping and sorrowful. You see? It's locked for the background noise and a wind. This is where I have to do a video right now. Okay? But when this world starts to mourn, when all hell breaks loose, all right, these people are, mourning and in dire straits and everything. The scripture said the elect is going to be merry and have abundance. So they're going to be happy as hell and have abundance, you see? So these people talking about this, that, and the third happening. Look, man, the elect is going to be merry. They're going to be good, and they're going to have abundance. They're going to have food. They're going to be taken care of. Okay? The Lord knows Jake like to be taken care of, so the Lord going to take care of his elect. Okay? You're going to provide. Yahushua told you to trust. Yahushua told you to trust, man. Have faith. All right? That's why in the end of Matthew, the 6th chapter, he said, "O ye of little faith." You have to have faith in Yahushua. Let me get that real quick. So as this place goes down, the elect is good. This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 32. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek, for your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. See? So the Lord already knows what you need, man. He already knows your needs. Okay? So we know, and I'm saying this, things are going to amplify. Things are going to get worse. All right? Things are going to get worse, man. So when it gets, right now, see the elect, look, some brothers can travel, things like that. Some brothers do, I personally like to, travel if I can, and things, right? But we're not into it like these people are. We're not going to start crashing out if we can't travel, Let's just be thankful, for the times the Lord allowed us to. But look, we don't care. We don't care, you know. We don't care, like, you know, if we get a flight delayed and canceled. Yeah, it'll be a bummer if we already spent money on it, but ultimately, it's not like we didn't expect all hell to break loose eventually. We don't care. You know, we're not attached to this place. You know, we're not attached to this place. People, you know, not like we're going like how these people in the world do. You know, the flight gets canceled and say, nah, you can't go on a flight. It's not like we're about to start fighting people at the airport because we mad. You know, throwing the suitcase over the people at the flight gate's desk. You know, we're not going to do that. We don't care. Okay, we're not attached to this world. All right. You know, but as stuff starts crumbling down, we know that this needs to happen for the kingdom of heaven to come in. Okay, these things need to happen so that the kingdom of heaven can come in. All right, because we're going to be up, man. You know. But another thing I wanted to get to is also this: how with this flight and everything happening, you know, this is an example of this going on. You know, and I mean, look, when all hell breaks loose, do you really think they're gonna let you travel, man? Come on now. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And with this flight thing, and I saw a brother put this, I don't remember regarding these flight shortages in general, but I remember seeing a brother put that up recently, you know. I don't remember which brother, all right? But these are like beginning stages, all right, of a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay, you know. So, hey, man, you know, it's going to get worse. You're going to see that more. You know, you're going to see more restrictions. You know, and Trump with his martial law thing definitely ain't going to be able to travel. Definitely. Even, you know, it's going to get so bad to the point people, you know, are going to have a hard time getting from city to city. Okay. Getting from city to city, man, it's going to be a hard thing. All right. You know, so we in them times, man. You know, I personally really feel like this is the beginning of Jacob's trouble. I really feel like that, you know, and soon it's going to become more and more and more evident. This is just going to become more and more and more evident, man, that we're living in that we're living in Jacob's trouble. So, hey, you know. So, yeah, man, I wanted to put that out there. We are in the midst of a government shutdown, and people ain't, you know, certain governments ain't, certain, you know, federal workers ain't getting paid, you know, and this Esau for you, man. How you make somebody work, not pay him, like the head brother Ward at the camp down here said, you know? So, yeah, you know, so, hey, man, I'm going to just leave it with that. Lord willing to us, it was edifying. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that were well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect of Israel. Shalom to the elect.